I want you to inhabit this moment completely. Close your eyes if you have to. It is a crisp Saturday afternoon in Boston. You are Sonya MacTavish. You're 28 years old, and on paper, you are absolutely winning the game of life.
Right. You have everything figured out.
Exactly. You have the graphic design career that you built from the ground up. You have this beautiful duplex that you are so proud of. And, most importantly, you have a wedding coming up in exactly 8 weeks.
The countdown is on.
It is. You've just spent the morning picking up the proofs for your wedding invitations. We're talking cream cardstock, gold lettering, very expensive, very tasteful. You're driving home, humming along to the radio, just thinking about seating charts and whether the salmon or the steak is the better option for the reception.
It's that moment of peak stability, isn't it?
Yeah.
The calm before the asteroid hits. Everything is ordered. Everything is planned to the minute.
Yes, and you unlock your front door expecting to maybe find your fiancé Brandon watching college football. Maybe he's unloading the dishwasher if you're lucky. Instead, you are greeted by a trail of evidence that feels almost too scripted to be real.
It's cinematic in the worst way.
First, there's a single red stiletto in the foyer. Not yours. You don't even own red stilettos.
Right.
Then a few feet away, the mate. Then a white dress discarded in the hallway, a dress you recognize instantly because your cousin Tracy was wearing it at the family barbecue just last week.
And the auditory detail here is crucial to the scene.
Yeah.
It's not silence. It's not soft jazz playing in the background. It's Beyoncé.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Videophone is just blasting from the bedroom. It's such a jarring juxtaposition, this upbeat, sexy anthem playing over the absolute destruction of your life.
So you walk to the bedroom door. Your heart isn't even pounding yet. You're just kind of confused. And there he is, Brandon, your fiancé, the man you are supposed to marry in 2 months. He's in your bed. With Tracy, your own cousin.
It's a betrayal so intimate and honestly so cliché that it almost feels like a parody of a breakup scene. And this is where the narrative hook really sinks in for me, because as a reader, we expect tears. We expect Sonya to collapse, to scream, to fall apart. That's the standard reaction.
But she doesn't. And this is why I fell in love with this character in the first 5 pages. Sonya doesn't feel heartbreak. She stands there watching this grotesque scene, and she feels rage. She feels disgust. But mostly she feels a profound sense of absurdity.
Yeah, she literally says it out loud.
She actually says to them, right there in the doorway, I'm in the middle of a goddamn cliche.
That line is brilliant. It signals a massive psychological shift right from the jump. It tells us that deep down, Sonya wasn't as invested in this relationship as she thought she was. If she were truly soul deep in love, she would be devastated. Instead, she's annoyed. She's offended by the disrespect, not destroyed by the loss.
She kicks them out immediately. Naked or not, she wants them gone. Just get out of my house. And once they're gone, once the door slams shut and the silence rushes back in, she realizes something absolutely shocking. She feels relieved.
That relief is the key to everything that follows. It completely reframes the entire story. This isn't a tragedy about a woman losing her great love. It's a liberation story about a woman escaping a cage she didn't even know she was in. Brandon wasn't a partner. He was a weight.
He really was. He was controlling the wedding, planning the house, hunting the finances.
Right, he was managing her life.
So it's the realization that her perfect life didn't actually fit her. It was a suit 2 sizes too small.
So today we are doing a deep dive into the book that starts with this explosion of a life. We're talking about Inheritance, the Lost Bride Trilogy, Book 1 by the absolute titan of storytelling, Nora Roberts.
And there is no one better at blending these genres than Nora Roberts. We're talking about a story that starts as a modern rom-com breakup and pivots hard into a gothic haunted house mystery.
Our mission today is to really explore that pivot. We're going to look at how a story about a spooky manor in Maine is actually a profound look at reclaiming one's history. It's about the weight of generational trauma, quite literally ghosts in the attic, and the incredible power of female resilience. And we can't forget the supernatural element here. This isn't just spooky noises and cold drafts. We are dealing with a centuries-old curse, 7 dead brides, and a malevolent spirit that wants Sonya dead.
Exactly. So let's go back to the fallout in Boston. Because Brandon doesn't go quietly. You'd think, having been caught red-handed in such a shameful way, he'd have the grace to just disappear.
But no, not Brandon.
No, he becomes incredibly vindictive.
It's classic narcissistic injury. He's been rejected, so he feels this desperate need to destroy the person who rejected him. Starts a campaign of petty terror. He keys her car. He spreads rumors to their mutual friends that she was the one who cheated.
It's pure gaslighting. But the worst part for me is the work stuff. Sonya is a freelance graphic designer. Her computer is her entire life. And Brandon manages to corrupt her work files. He literally wipes her hard drive.
That is such a specific and cruel violation. For a creative professional, that isn't just a prank, that is burning down her livelihood. It's a direct attempt to erase her professional identity.
It forces Sonya into what psychologists might call a burn the boats moment. If Brandon had just been sad and apologetic, she might have stayed in Boston. She might have tried to make it work, or at least stayed in her apartment. But because he scorched the earth, she really had no choice but to look for an exit.
That toxicity is actually the engine of her liberation. It creates the clean slate. She quits her job, which is a huge, bold move, and she's physically and emotionally ready to walk away from everything she's built in Boston.
And right on cue, as if the universe was just waiting for her to be untethered, there's a knock on the door. It's not Brandon coming back to apologize again. It's a stranger, a lawyer named Oliver Doyle. And he drops a bombshell that changes the trajectory of her entire life.
He reveals that Sonya's father, Andrew MacTavish, was adopted. Now, Sonya knew this. It wasn't a secret in her family. But Oliver tells her something she absolutely didn't know. Andrew had a twin brother, a twin he was separated from at birth.
This detail about the twins is so touching, and it adds this immediate layer of mysticism right from the start. Sonya remembers her dad, who died years ago, having these recurring dreams. He would dream about looking in a mirror and seeing a boy who looked just like him but wasn't him. He even sketched this boy.
It suggests a supernatural bond between the twins, a connection that transcended distance and silence and adoption records. Andrew felt the absence of his brother Collin Poole his whole life. It's like a phantom limb. And now Sonya learns that her uncle Collin Poole has just passed away.
And here is where the inheritance part of the title comes in. Because Collin had no children and his wife died young, he has left everything to the closest living relative. That's Sonya, the lost niece.
And the inheritance is massive. We're talking old money here. Stocks, bonds, the works. But the centerpiece, the thing that really matters to the story, is the property. A massive Victorian manor in Maine called Lost Bride Manor.
Even the name gives you goosebumps. Lost Bride Manor. I mean, who names their house that and expects good things to happen?
Well, it's an incredibly fitting name as we find out. It's located in Poole's Bay, high on a cliff overlooking the Atlantic. It's the ancestral home of the Poole family. But there is a catch. There's always a catch in these eccentric wills, isn't there?
Always. To inherit the estate, Sonya must live in the manor. She has to reside there for at least 3 years. She can't sell it. She can't rent it out to some vacationers. She has to occupy the space physically.
It's the classic call to adventure. And we really have to ask, why does she say yes? Is it just the money?
I don't think it's the money at all. Sonya is capable. She's talented. She could rebuild her graphic design business in Boston if she really wanted to. I think it's the pull of history. It's those sketches her father drew. She needs to know who he really was. She needs to connect with the family he was stolen from.
Exactly. It's a search for identity. She's just lost her identity as a fiancé and a Boston graphic designer. She's looking for a new one. So she packs up her life. She grabs her dog, Yoda.
Which, by the way, is the best dog name ever. Little shout out to the greatest Jedi.
Absolutely. She grabs Yoda. She drives north to Maine.
Let's talk about the arrival at Lost Bride Manor. Because in a lot of these Gothic stories, the house is scary right away. It's dilapidated, the roof is caving in, it's full of cobwebs. But Roberts paints a completely different picture here.
It's stunning. It's Gothic, yes, but it's majestic. It sits on a cliff overlooking the wild, crashing ocean. When Sonya walks in, she notes that it feels alive. It's fully furnished, filled with centuries of history. It's not a ruin. It's a beautifully kept museum of a family she never knew. It's immaculate.
And she meets the welcome committee. There's Trey Doyle Oliver's son, who is also a lawyer. He's handsome, steady, very competent. The immediate spark is there, but Sonya is understandably gun-shy after the whole Brandon dumpster fire.
Very understandable. And then there's the other member of the welcome committee, the portrait in the foyer, Astrid Poole.
Oh, yes. Describe Astrid for us, because she is central to everything that happens next.
She's the first bride. The painting dates back to 1806. She's beautiful, wearing her wedding dress, holding her bouquet. But her expression, it's heartbreakingly sad. It's not the look of a joyous, blushing bride.
And Trey explains the lore right away. He doesn't try to hide the dark history from her to get her to stay.
No, he's very upfront. He treats her like an adult. He tells her that Astrid was murdered on her wedding day. Her husband, the original Collin, hanged himself in grief shortly after finding her.
So the house is literally built on a foundation of profound tragedy. A murder-suicide right at the start of the family timeline.
It is a monument to grief. And yet, despite knowing this, Sonya feels an instant connection to it. She calls it love at first sight. She feels like she belongs there.
And the house seems to agree with her. This is one of the most fascinating parts of the deep dive, the concept of the good ghosts. We're so used to ghosts in media screaming, "Get out," and throwing plates, but Sonya moves in, and things start happening that are actually helpful.
It's a brilliant subversion of the haunted house trope. Sonya hears music playing, classic rock, pop, whatever fits her mood. That's Clover, her biological grandmother, who we learn is one of the spirits tied to the house.
And it's not just music. The house smells like fresh flowers, even in the dead of winter. Objects move helpfully. Cabinet doors open when Sonya is looking for a coffee mug. The bed gets turned down in the evening.
It's like a supernatural concierge service.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Even if the ghost is friendly and folds my laundry, I'm still running out of the house. I don't care if my sheets are 800 thread count and smell like lavender. If I didn't make the bed, I'm calling a priest.
See, I disagree. I think you get used to it eventually. Roberts frames it as the ultimate act of welcoming. Imagine coming home tired and the house has adjusted the lighting and put on Fleetwood Mac for you. It's not haunting. It's hosting. The ancestors are trying to communicate. They are saying, you are one of us. You are home.
I mean, I guess it beats bleeding walls. But speaking of bleeding walls, we have to pivot. Because it's not all friendly housekeeping ghosts. There is a reason the house is called Lost Bride Manor.
This brings us to the curse of the 7 brides. And this isn't just a spooky ghost story. This is a terrifying history of violence against women. We have to go back to 1806. The villain of the piece is a woman named Hester Dobbs.
Hester Dobbs. Even the name sounds sharp and mean. Who was she exactly?
Hester was a woman who lived in the village nearby. She was completely obsessed with the original Collin Poole. She loved him, or at least she thought she did. But he chose Astrid. He chose the gentle, kind bride over her. Hester's jealousy wasn't just sadness or disappointment. It was a consuming black rage.
So on the wedding day, while Astrid is getting ready, Hester walks into the manor.
And she stabs Astrid to death, brutally, unforgivingly. And as she stands over the dying bride, she speaks the curse.
Die a bride and know he'll come to me. Bride after bride will join you in death.
That's the line. She vows that no bride in the Poole line will ever have a happy ending. She curses the lineage so that every single wedding turns into a funeral. And she creates a physical mechanism for this curse. She steals their wedding rings.
That detail is so dark. She kills them and violently takes the rings from their fingers.
The symbolism there is so powerful. The wedding ring represents a circle unending love, a bond that cannot be broken. Hester physically breaks that bond by stealing the rings from the dying women. She wears them. It's a way of binding their souls to her and fueling her own dark power.
And it works for centuries. Sonya uncovers the history of the 7 lost brides through the family archives. And I think we really need to walk through them because it emphasizes the massive scale of this tragedy. It's not just a statistic, it's 7 individual lives.
Absolutely. First, you have Astrid stabbed on her wedding day in 1806. Then there was Catherine. She was the second bride. Her story is terrifying. She was lured out into a blizzard on her wedding night. She heard a voice calling her late, walked out into the snow in her gown, and froze to death.
That image haunts me. The white dress and the stark white snow, just walking into oblivion because she was tricked.
Then there was Mary Ann. She died in childbirth, giving birth to twins. Hester was there in spirit. She stole the ring right off Mary Ann's dying finger while the babies were crying in the room.
It shows the absolute cruelty of the curse. Hester doesn't care about the newborn children. She doesn't care about the collateral damage. She just wants the ring and the suffering.
Then Agatha, the 4th bride. She was poisoned or choked, depending on the historical account, right at her wedding reception. She just dropped dead in front of all her guests. Then Lillian, also known as Clover. This is Sonya's biological grandmother. She also died in childbirth, just like Mary Ann.
And finally, Johanna, the modern Collin's wife.
Johanna's death was tragic and seemingly accidental to the outside world. She tripped down the grand staircase on her wedding day. But we know as the reader that it wasn't an accident. It was a push. It was the curse manifesting again.
It's relentless. Every generation a bride dies. The house is essentially a mausoleum for these women, and Sonya is realizing she is living with them.
But notice the pattern here. Sonya isn't a bride. She's single. She just dramatically ended her engagement. She's the clean slate we talked about. This makes her an anomaly in the house's history. She doesn't fit the pattern of romance, marriage, and death.
And that makes her dangerous to Hester, because Sonya isn't just falling in love blindly, she's digging for the truth. She's actively looking for the rings to break the curse.
And Hester doesn't like that one bit. While Clover's playing nice music and turning down the bed, Hester is doing some serious psychological warfare. She operates mostly out of the gold room.
The gold room. Sonya describes it as having a meat locker cold. It smells of rot and decay. It's where all the negative energy is concentrated in the house.
Hester's attacks are specifically designed to terrify and isolate Sonya. The grandfather clock always striking 3 a.m. the witching hour. It's a deliberate disruption of sleep, a disruption of her sanity.
And then the message on the mirror. Sonya gets out of the shower, the room is steamy, and she sees words written in the condensation on the glass. Leave or die.
Which is a very direct threat. There's no ambiguity there. Most people would pack their bags and drive back to Boston right then. But Sonya's reaction is my favorite part of her character development.
Yeah.
She doesn't cry. She gets mad. She basically tells the ghost to go to hell.
That's the resilience coming through again. But Hester escalates. She realizes fear won't work, so she moves from psychological threats to physical attacks. And we have to talk about the boiling water incident because this scene is straight out of a survival horror movie.
This scene is pivotal. Sonya's best friend Cleo is visiting. Cleo is in the bathroom just washing her face. Normal evening routine. Suddenly the faucet handles turn by themselves, and it's not just a drip, it's full blast.
And it's not just hot water, it's superheated. Roberts describes the metal of the faucet turning cherry red from the heat.
And the steam. It's not a relaxing spa steam. It's a suffocating, burning cloud. It blinds her. Cleo goes for the door, and the knob, which was working perfectly fine 5 minutes ago, is dead jammed.
Oh.
She's trapped in a scalding sauna that is rapidly becoming a torture chamber.
It shifts the genre instantly. We aren't in a cozy mystery anymore. This is a literal attempt to boil a woman alive in a bathroom. It raises the stakes for the reader because now we know Hester isn't just playing parlor tricks. She's actively trying to commit murder.
And yet they survive it. Sonya manages to break the door down. And this brings us to the importance of the support system in the book. Because Sonya doesn't fight this battle alone.
We really have to talk about Trey Doyle. In the romance genre, the hero often serves as a corrective experience to the ex. If Brandon was chaotic, selfish, and diminishing, Trey is, well, what is he?
Trey is what I like to call competence porn. Seriously. He's a lawyer, he's handy with tools, he knows the local history, and most importantly, he listens to her. When Sonya says, "My walls are bleeding," Brandon would have said, "You're crazy, you need therapy." Trey says, "Okay, let's get the sage and maybe check the structural integrity of the drywall."
He validates her reality. That is so sexy. And I love the 4 dates rule subplot between them. It's such a beautifully human attempt to impose order on total chaos. She's living in a situation right out of The Conjuring, but she's insisting on traditional courtship rules. She tells him, point blank, no sleeping together until the 4th date.
It's all about agency. Brandon took her agency away. The ghosts are trying to take her agency away. By setting a firm boundary with Trey, she's proving to herself that she is still the driver of her own life, even if she has to count a poltergeist attack as a legitimate date.
Which she does. She absolutely counts the night the room exploded as a date. And I think that's totally fair. If you survive a ghost attack together, that counts as dinner and a movie in my book.
Oh, absolutely. Trauma bonds definitely speed up the dating timeline. But equally important to Trey is Cleo Fabaris.
Cleo is the MVP of this book. She's the best friend we all wish we had. When things get scary, Cleo doesn't leave. She moves in. She packs her bags, drives up, and says, "I'm not letting you live in a haunted house alone."
Cleo represents the overarching theme of female solidarity. Think about the other brides for a second. Astrid was murdered alone. Catherine walked into the snow alone. They were isolated. Hester isolated them. Sonya has reinforcement. Cleo isn't there to be the skeptic who doubts everything. She's the shield. She brings crystal sage and just pure, unadulterated attitude.
And we can't forget Sonya's mom, Winter. She accepts the ghost story, too. And why? Because she felt her husband, Sonya's dad, after he died.
That's a beautiful thematic parallel. Winter felt the benevolent, lingering presence of Andrew MacTavish. It reinforces that idea that love is the real magic, as the book says. The good ghosts are powered by love and connection. Hester's powered by hate and isolation. It's a literal battle of emotional energies.
So we have the team assembled. We have the villain established. Now we have the core mystery, the mirror.
This is the key to the whole trilogy. The magic system centers entirely on a specific object. Sonya realizes that her father's sketches of a specific ornate mirror with carved predators on the frame actually match a mirror she sees in her dreams.
And it's not just a mirror that shows a reflection, it's a portal. Sonya starts having these lucid dreams where she doesn't just look at the glass, she steps right through it.
She's traveling to the past, or at least witnessing the past as it happened. She's standing in the room when Marianne dies in childbirth. She sees Hester steal the ring with her own eyes. It's vivid, it's visceral, and it is incredibly dangerous.
And the ghosts, Astrid and Clover, they start communicating with her directly through these visions. They give her the mission, find the rings.
The rings are the anchors of the curse. If Sonya can find the 7 stolen wedding rings, she can break Hester's power for good. But the rings aren't just hidden in a drawer upstairs. They are lost in time, or hidden by a malevolent ghost who can manipulate reality itself.
The stakes are astronomical. Sonya is the last of the line in a way. If she fails, the curse continues forever, and Hester has made it explicitly clear. Leave or die.
Which brings us to the massive climax of the book, the discovery of the actual physical mirror. It wasn't in the main living areas of the house. It was hidden away in the ballroom, a room that had been closed off and shrouded in dust for decades.
The description of the ballroom is fantastic. It's freezing cold, unnaturally cold, and pulsing with the actual heartbeat of the house. Sonya, Trey, Cleo, and Owen, who is a cousin and a direct Poole descendant, go in there to confront it.
And this is where the rules of the magic become very strict. Sonya feels a pull from the mirror. She looks into it and sees the past inside. Party music, warmth. It's a trap, but it's also the only way forward.
She realizes she can't find the rings in the present timeline. They aren't hidden under the floorboards. They are in the past. She has to go in.
And here's the major twist. Sonya tries to take them all with her. She wants her whole team. But Trey and Cleo cannot pass through the glass. They hit a solid surface.
Right.
But Owen is a Poole. He shares the bloodline.
So Sonya takes Owen's hand, and they step through the glass together.
It's a massive leap of faith. They step from the freezing, dusty, haunted ballroom of the present right into the warm-lit 19th century ballroom of the past.
And the connection is severed instantly. The mirror swallows them up. Trey and Cleo are left screaming on the other side, pounding on the glass. That is a massive cliffhanger.
It really is. It changes the genre entirely for the next book. We've gone from a haunted house mystery to a full-blown time travel adventure. Sonya is no longer just observing the ghosts. She's now walking among them in their time with Hester Dobbs, presumably alive and dangerous in that timeline.
It's brilliant pacing by Roberts. Just when you think you understand all the rules, ghosts haunt the house, you find the clues. The book says, nope, now we are going to 1806.
Or whichever specific time period the mirror has taken them to. It seems to be an amalgamation of the past where the trauma originated.
So let's reflect on Sonya's journey here as we wrap up. She starts as a woman whose wealth was controlled by a small, selfish man named Brandon, who ends the book braving a centuries-old curse, stepping through a magical mirror to save her family's soul.
It's a profound arc of liberation. The title Inheritance is doing a lot of heavy lifting. She inherits the property, yes, but she actively chooses to inherit the trauma. She could have walked away. The leave or die message gave her an out. She stayed. She chose to face the ugliness of her family history rather than run from it.
That's the why it matters part for me. We all have things in our family history that are painful. Maybe not murderous, which painful, but painful. Sonya teaches us that you have to face it to fix it. You can't just paint over it.
Precisely. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge. Sonya acknowledges the horror, but she also acknowledges the love. Astrid's tragedy, Clover's sacrifice. She honors them by fighting for them.
And she does it with so much style. I mean, she's redesigning the house, dating a hot lawyer, and fighting ghosts all at the exact same time. She is the ultimate multitasking queen.
It's that perfect balance of the mundane and the supernatural that makes Roberts' writing so sticky. You genuinely care about Sonya's graphic design business just as much as you care about her battle with the ghost.
So we leave Sonya and Owen on the other side of the mirror. Trey and Cleo are panicked in the present, and we as the readers are desperate for book 2.
It leaves us with a really lingering question.
Yeah.
If you could step into the past to fix the trauma of your ancestors, would you? And what happens when the past actively tries to kill you?
That is a terrifying thought. And frankly, I don't know if I'd have the guts Sonya has. I think I'd have been out at the bleeding walls stage.
I think most of us would have been long gone.
Yeah.
But that's exactly why she's the hero of the story.
Exactly. This has been a deep dive into Inheritance by Nora Roberts. It's a romance, it's a ghost story, it's a mystery. And if you haven't read it, you really need to, if only to find out what happens on the other side of that mirror.
And to see if she ever actually finds those rings.
Fingers crossed for Sonya. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Be curious.
And watch out for red stilettos. You never know what they might lead to.
Indeed.
Until next time, keep reading.